David Coutts-Trotter, how long does it take you to get your money back from these big investments on international football?
Well, we're probably talking 4 to 5 years, I think.
No. Easier than mining, huh? No, quicker.
Much quicker.
But it is. In your case, though, it's actually getting the licenses, which is the issue. You've got 43% of the market in South Africa. I guess any more casino licenses, the competition board will stop.
Yeah, quite difficult for us. There aren't any really significant licenses left to be awarded. You know, I think on the acquisition front, competition would be an issue. So really in South Africa, from a casino point of view, I think we are fairly constrained at this time.
Gold Reef, with all the funny stuff that was going on there with the takeover, then it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Would you not be allowed to even go and look?
I don't think so. I think it would be quite difficult if you know, we've done a bit of analysis. I think if you look at it, we'd probably run into competition issues. And I think given the sort of regulation and all the issues around that, trying to do a deal like that would end up taking so long to try and get through all those hurdles. It's probably not really achievable.
You've done a great job. From the old days, the old government, you had a very dominant position. You had to give up a lot of those casinos, but you still held on to 43% of them, which is quite an achievement. But then you've been looking overseas, and what happened in the UK? Your predecessor, Peter Bacon, Dave, I'm sure you'll remember, often was talking about the UK opportunity.
I think they were looking in Manchester as well, but that's the deal.
Look, just on the 43%, if you look at it, probably 38 of that is out of new businesses and new properties. So that puts it into context of where we were, what we gave up, what we've kept is really relatively small in the overall market. We did look at the UK quite hard. I think really what's happened in the UK is pretty much an about term by the Brown government. Very surprising, I think, given that in his position as the Chancellor before, you would have thought that he was very closely consulted. And in fact, we know he was very involved in drawing up the policy, and for whatever reason seems to have done a complete about turn. So they went from, I think so. They went from sort of 8 what they called super casinos down to maybe 4, down to 1 test case being the Manchester. The test case Manchester's out of the window now. So I really don't see that under this current government that you're going to see any change to that.
But that hasn't stopped you. Chile is an interesting. It's probably your biggest development.
At this stage it is, absolutely. Santiago, Chile, in fact we just south of Santiago, about 50 kilometers. Around about a $200 million investment, so it's a significant investment. Large casino with hotel, conference space, retail, etc. So very much the sort of model that we have in our bigger properties in South Africa.
Why South America?
So to be honest, that's where the opportunity came. We had previously had a little look at Chile about going back probably 2, 3, 4 years. There was a new dispensation coming in there. We didn't really see the sort of opportunity that we liked at that point in time with the people we were talking with. This opportunity came to the table.
So it's very opportunistic when you're looking outside of South Africa.
Correct, yeah.
And very opportunistic in Nigeria as well. Good place, Federal Palace, but it's pretty run down, huh?
Yeah, well, opportunistic. I think we're probably 4 years in trying to pull this one off, negotiators, sort out issues of federal law, state law, etc. So it's been an uphill.
Bribe? Did you have to pay him?
No, not at all.
Sure.
Not at all. Absolutely certain. But it's been challenging, but I think it's going to prove to be worthwhile. I think it's always quite difficult when you're at the pioneering end. I mean, the next guy isn't going to have to make as many changes to laws, etc. But we think it'll be worthwhile. It is an excellent location, there's no question.
Would you go for more licenses in Nigeria?
We may well. I think, at this stage, let's get on and implement what we've started. But certainly, I think these things always make sense is once you sort of built a bit of a bridgehead and you're comfortable with the environment, if the laws are correct and things are running well, we'd rather try and expand off that base than do it all again in another country.
I was pulling your leg on the
and likewise regionally,
It is something that corruption has dogged investment in Nigeria. Did you find it difficult to do things ethically?
I think it has been tough time-wise, and I think that's probably the issue. We never encountered the corruption, we didn't encounter the issues, but that's because we probably stayed very strictly on the sort of our track. And as a consequence, maybe things take a little longer and maybe there are other ways of getting things done faster. I'm not aware of them, and we certainly never engaged at any level. We made it very clear right up front what our sort of ethics and our strategy is.
Were you on track to make a first land from Nigeria?
Well, we're actually in there at the moment managing the existing towers. We don't exactly have the signs up, but it is giving us the opportunity to sort of get our feet in the water. There are two separate hotel properties there. The one has been extensively rebuilt and refurbished and is currently being furnished. And we're hoping to open the doors there, I'd say, early June, late May this year, early June. So then we will have a hotel which I think we'll be able to be very proud of. But that's just the first part of the project. That's about 150 rooms. The balance of the rooms then means completely gutting the towers building, and at that stage we build on some additional restaurants, retail, and the casino component.
It's exciting stuff. So you've also gone into Egypt, and you've opened already.
Egypt's open. Egypt, from our perspective, is just a management contract. It's been a challenge getting the resort open. We've only had sort of limited input into the development process, where normally we sort of manage that ourselves. That being said, I think the property is looking outstanding, and I think we're fairly optimistic that over time it can become well established and a very successful resort.
Many South African companies are looking to the Middle East, Middle East, that area. Your experiences in Egypt, would that whet your appetite for more investment in that area?
I think we're finding, just on the pure management contract, I'm not sure that the rewards are sort of sufficient for the effort, and there's still risk. I mean, it might not be capital risk, but there's reputational and other risks involved with just taking a pure management deal. I think the nature of our business, I'm not sure that we're getting sufficient reward out of that. Versus Nigeria, we've taken a view where we're a co-investor. We have a partner, but we're a co-investor. We also have a contract to develop and manage. Absolutely.
David Coutts-Trotter, David Shapiro, price earnings ratio 22, dividend yield 3.6%. It's highly rated stock.
It is highly rated, and I think where the disappointment might come in those numbers is that we're seeing a slowdown here. And I think this is one area where we didn't really expect to see a slowdown on the gaming side, but it came through both in Gold Reef's numbers and certainly in Sun International's numbers. And I suppose that's a process that we have to go through with tightening here.
It's exciting international stuff.
That's where the growth is going to come. I think as we see this South Africa being exhausted or being stretched, hopefully we'll see new areas exactly like MTN. Same story as they expand into Africa or other areas. And the one thing they can do is manage hotels and manage casinos.
Indeed they can. Well, we'll have that last update for you on the markets in a moment.